So another thing is that people, when they do file disputes, their main thing could have been from the beginning that they were going to file the dispute. So they went on your website with the intention of receiving something for free. So they knew that they would pay for everything, but then they knew that they would also be calling their bank to dispute the charges. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about chargebacks and how you could avoid chargebacks, and I also wanted to talk about like ways to avoid fraud with your small business, some things that you could do to avoid it, because you know, we live in an age where people are buying stuff online all the time. That also means that we have to also increase our security measures for our good so that we don't get scammed by people and stuff. So if you are interested in that, then just keep on watching. If you are new to my channel, I just want to say hey, my name is Donna. I love to do fashion videos and I make videos weekly, so if you are interested in my content, definitely hit that subscribe button down below, and also give this video a thumbs up if you do find it helpful. So I actually talked about chargebacks in one of my older videos. I think the video is like over a year old, but I also wanted to talk about it again because I have so many new subscribers now, and I'm sure that not all of you got to see that video. And I was also reminded of it when I was on TikTok the other day, and this girl, she was talking about how she's a new business owner, and you know, she had just launched her business that month, and then somebody had ordered something from her, and then they filed a chargeback claim saying that they didn't receive it or something like that. So she got hit with that fee. That's the fee that the bank charges you for processing that for the customer. So before I start, I think I should talk about what chargebacks are in case you aren't familiar with what a chargeback is. So basically, a chargeback is when a customer calls their bank to dispute a charge, and usually banks are most of the time willing to, you know, do the chargeback for the customer. They look at you as their customer and they see you as being right. So if the bank sees that the customer's issue is valid, then they will charge your merchant account, and then you don't only pay the customer back what they had paid, but you'll also pay like a processing fee that could be anywhere between like $15 to $100 for them processing the chargeback. So it's definitely not something that's easy to deal with. It's definitely not something fun to deal with, especially as a new business. You don't want to have to go through that. You're losing money. So some valid reasons that banks allow chargebacks are when customers say they didn't receive what they ordered. So basically the customer is saying that you scammed them, so they are getting their money back. Another thing is that they were incorrectly billed. Maybe they forgot they made a purchase, or they don't recognize your merchant name on their bank statement, so they file the chargeback. Or another thing is that they feel that the product or service that they received isn't up to par with what they expected, and they just feel like it wasn't worth it, so they go to charge, they file the dispute with their bank. Something else that I know for sure is that like some people may file a dispute when they feel like they have buyer's remorse. So maybe they spent a certain amount of money and now they're feeling really regretful about it, so they go to file a dispute with their bank, and the bank sees it as valid. Most of the time I feel like when people are disputing charges that they know are not accurate, they are lying. It's really up to the bank to distinguish whether they're telling the truth or not, but it's really hard. So another thing is that people, when they do file disputes, their main thing could have been from the beginning that they were going to file the dispute. So they went on your website with the intention of receiving something for free. So they knew that they would pay for everything, but then they knew that they would also be calling their bank to dispute the charges. Another thing that the bank sees as valid is if the primary card holder wasn't the one who actually processed the payment and authorized it. And then another thing is that, like, let's say they contact the company that they purchased something from, and the company is like, sorry, you know, we don't do refunds, and you know, they see that they're not able to get a refund for whatever reason, they just don't qualify for it, then they'll file for a dispute with their bank. So as you guys could see, there are so many reasons why, and so many valid reasons that people could actually file disputes with their bank even if they aren't telling the truth, because it's hard for banks to see whether or not people are being truthful. So there are certain apps and stuff that you could use on Shopify. I use Shopify, so I know about that. So if you're using other websites like Wix and, you know, Squarespace and stuff like that, they should have these things to help you to prevent fraud. So there are these certain apps that you could download to prevent fraudulent transactions. In Shopify, they actually just have a feature built into your account automatically, where when you receive your order and you're going to fulfill it and everything, before you actually process it and start shipping the things out, they have like a fraud analysis next to the purchase order, and you could see if it's low risk, high risk, and medium risk, and what you should do. So with Shopify, you do have the option to have cards declined if the billing address doesn't match the shipping address. So that's basically like an AVS, address verification service, where you're able to see whether or not the address is going to be the same. Because most of the time when people are scamming, that's something that they do. They make sure that the shipping address is not the same. And there are also instances maybe where people get their credit card stolen and someone actually makes a purchase with it or something, so then you would have to deal with that kind of chargeback. But so I also know that you could request card security codes. So when people are putting in their card information, make sure they have the back of the card. There's also text verification services, so when they're putting in their information, they'll receive a text message to put in a code. Overall, I definitely can say that there are so many reasons that people can actually file a chargeback, but there are just certain things that we should do as business owners to protect ourselves from those fraudulent transactions and stuff. And if you know that a chargeback really is false, and you know that the customer received the item and they lied about not receiving it, you can make sure that you actually fight it back. Don't just let it slide, because I think that when you let it slide, if it happens again, then the banks are more likely to think that you are actually a fraudulent kind of company. So definitely always try to fight it back. What you could also do is have delivery confirmation signatures. So that's a good way for you to know, like, okay, the customer actually did receive the merchandise. Especially when it comes to larger orders, I would definitely try to have like a signature required. I heard people say that it doesn't always work out for them, but it's definitely something I think that you should try, just to avoid things from happening. That's why I think as a business you should have good policies and procedures put in place, so that if anything happens, people know. If anything happens, you are protected and you are able to fight and win. Have clear product descriptions. Also have a clear return and refund policy on your website. If there are certain dates, if there is a certain time frame that you are willing to accept things, then make sure that it's really there, put in clear and plain on your website, so that people can't say that they didn't see it or anything. Even if people are saying that they didn't see it, that's still, you know, it's not your fault that they didn't read the return policy on your website, because every single store has a different return and exchange policy. So if they didn't read it, then that's not on you. Just stay firm. If you are saying that if you're saying that you're not accepting returns or exchanges, then that's just what it is. If people don't read into it before they buy, then that's just on them. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. I feel like it was kind of all over the place, but if you guys have any, you know, information for us small business owners that could help us out when it comes to fraud and chargebacks, definitely leave them in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.